What's happening, everybody? It's me, Crazy Frankie, and I'd like to welcome you to my Week 9 4 key game picks. Before I get into my thoughts from week number 8, I must apologize. Once again, it just seems like I'm not having any luck at all health-wise. My voice has been a little hoarse since last weekend, and bear with me if my voice is sounding, like I said, horsey or anything else for that matter. It's just I'm not having any good luck at all this season. I mean, and it's like the second time in like probably a month that, and probably within 1 month that I've gotten sick. But anyways, like I said, it's not much I can do. I mean, it's just hey, that's life, you know. We get minorly sick and then we feel better and all that. But anyways, thoughts from week number 8, and boy, there was a lot. The biggest upset of week number 8 was the Redskins beating the Cowboys. Anybody who saw the game Monday night, what a game it was. I mean, I, like many spectators who had picked the Cowboys to beat the Redskins, um, what can I say? I mean, I didn't think the game was going to be close. I thought it was probably going to be another blowout because the way Washington's been playing, they're playing terrible football. And then who would have thunk that Colt McCoy would lead the Redskins to a victory, even though it was a game-winning field goal in overtime, in which their defense stopped Tony Romo in the end on that overtime period. And a lot of questions now regarding Tony Romo's health right now. It's back again. Anybody who saw the game, remember he landed on his back again and he was in pain and he had been basically out of the ball game for a majority of the fourth quarter until he came back in the end to try to do anything. But unfortunately, he couldn't do anything because his mobility was not that great. So if you're a Cowboys fan, I mean, I know a lot of you guys have been criticizing Tony Romo, but now with the way he was playing the last 7 weeks, he was playing better football and he's managing well. And now this possible injury that's going to play a huge question right now. As of the time of this video, I don't have any other information regarding the status of Tony Romo. You're going to have to go through NFL.com or Dallas Cowboys website to see what's going on for any news on Tony Romo's health. But other than that, give the Redskins a ton of credit. They upset the Cowboys, and the Eagles are not that far behind in first place. It's going to be a battle towards Thanksgiving when both the Eagles and Cowboys will meet. And speaking of the Cowboys, I will be talking about them in one of my key game picks later on in this video. How about the game in London? And who actually woke up to watch that game? I mean, I live on the West Coast, and that game started at 6:30 in the morning. And I had to basically I was lucky to get up and watch the second half because I didn't get to see the first half. But I'm glad I watched the second half because I saw that score. And when Atlanta was leading 21-0 after halftime, I wondered what happened to the Falcons in this game. What really happened to them? I can't explain what happened to this team. You have a 21-0 lead, and then you let the Lions come back and beat you in the end. Now, I know a lot of you are speculating that delay of game penalty that happened at the end. And anybody who follows Mike Pura, the guy on Fox who tells you who used to be NFL on rules and all that, yeah, he's right. That the delay of game does not mean a runoff. It means that the play never happened. It was a dead ball, and there was no way they can get a 10-second runoff on that. But yeah, I mean, Prater missed the field goal on his first try before the referees missed before they called the delay of game on the Lions, and then on the second try they ended up winning. And I must say that I know it was a sloppy, terrible game by Atlanta in the second half. It was a tale of two halves. I mean, how in the hell did the Falcons just choke that game away is beyond me. And I have not heard anything yet whether Mike Smith has been fired yet or not, but I would think that on this bye week for them, I would think that he would be fired. I don't know, but something tells me head's got to be rolling in Atlanta right now. I mean, you lose that game pretty much for Atlanta's sake. You could kiss the rest of their season goodbye as far as playoff contention. The Seahawks got back on track, they beat Carolina, and that was another sloppy game. But the defending champions managed to get back up there. Record setting for two teams, both the Steelers putting up 51 points, but Ben Roethlisberger, 6 touchdown passes, over 500 yards. And really, I mean, that's really one of the big headlines if you're a stats lover. That was really big. And then of course the Patriots also put up 51 on the Bears and all that. And speaking of that game, if you saw that game, what did Lamar Houston do? How did he tore his ACL on a celebrating a sack? This is the same thing that happened to Stephen Tolfik of the Lions celebrating a sack, and he tore his ACL. These celebrations, I'm telling you, what is up with that? You do a crazy ass celebration, and then all of a sudden, you basically are out for the season. That's just wow. Last thoughts here. The Arizona Cardinals. They're red hot. They beat the Eagles last week on the last second in the last second on good defensive stop in the end for the Cardinals beating the Eagles. It's too early to tell if the Arizona Cardinals are a legit contender, possibly Super Bowl contender. Tough to say right now, but we're really right now they only have one loss right now, and they got a big one coming up, and that's going to be one of my key games. And speaking of my key games here, let's pass through now week number 8. Let's get into week 9. There's only 13 games on the schedule for week number 9 because 6 teams are on bye weeks, including the Lions and Falcons that played in London. They're going to be on a bye as well. So, anyways, here are my. So basically, this video might be short, but I'm trying to keep it as short as I can. I try not to make it over 20 minutes like I did in my last video. But anyways, let's talk about this now, shall we? Key game number 1. The New Orleans Saints at the Carolina Panthers. This is a big one right here. Divisional game. I know the NFC South is a very terrible division. Carolina losing to the Seahawks last week, and New Orleans with a big victory over the Packers on Sunday night. This game could not be any more of a toss-up. Now, last time these two teams met was last year in the fight for the division, and like I said before, it doesn't surprise me right now if these two teams are going to be battling again for this division. The only difference is the division stinks this year because really the Saints are 3-4, and Carolina they're 3-4-1. So it's tough to say right now who comes out of this game a winner. But I know the Saints haven't been good on the road all year long. If this is a game they need to step up here and win a game on the road, this is it right here. They know Carolina is struggling on both sides of the ball, and Carolina has to find a way to counter that. They're going to need to get points into the red zone if they want to beat the Saints in this game. And Cam Newton's going to have to put up better numbers, and he's going to have to really play the game of his life this season if Carolina wants another chance, another crack at that division right there. It's really tough to say. This game is a toss-up here. But who do I pick in this game? I'm going to go with the New Orleans Saints here. I like the way they're playing right now. Now, I know I've said they're terrible on the road, but if they're going to make a statement on the road, this is the game to do it right here. They know they have to beat Carolina in order to pass and leapfrog to try to at least get to first place. But currently right now, Carolina holds the tiebreaker because of that tie they had against the Cincinnati Bengals. But it would draw New Orleans much closer to get back up to 500. Not only that, with being 4-4, if they can beat the Carolina Panthers here. So obviously the Saints are playing a little bit better. They're playing much better than they had in their previous weeks, but they know they have a tough task ahead. And Carolina on both offense and defense, they're just not playing well. And if Drew Brees and the offense have got to attack that, they got to put more on. Knowing Carolina, they'll probably put a lot more pressure on Jimmy Graham, but Drew Brees is going to have to work through the other receivers in order to beat that defense here. So I'm going to say New Orleans wins this game. I think I kind of like them in this game, and they are favored by 2.5 here. So I'm going to say the Saints over the Panthers. Key game number 2, a big one here. The Arizona Cardinals at the Dallas Cowboys. Who would have thunk that Arizona would be playing this well? Not only that, they're going into a very, very big game against the Cowboys here. I know and now like I mentioned earlier in this video right now, a lot of health questions regarding Tony Romo right now. It's going to be huge here, how this game can turn out here. But for the Cowboys' sake, if they can just get the ball to DeMarco Murray and just play power football here, I like their chances of beating the Cardinals here, even though Tony Romo's health is going to be a question here of his back and his mobility. Now, for the Cardinals' sake, they're coming off a big victory over the Eagles and all. Carson Palmer played an excellent game last week, and pretty much he's going to remain the starter by looks of it. He's going to need to come up much more in this game against a pretty tough Dallas defense. And I know Dallas's defense did not play that well against the Redskins in a game that they should have won, but it's really tough to say if this defense can put a stop to Arizona's pretty good offense. They have a very good offense, and their defense is pretty good too. So it's really tough to say who comes out of this game the victor. This game is a huge toss-up here. And the odds makers have Dallas as a 3.5-point favorite. It's pretty close, so it's tough to say who comes out the victor in this game. So who do I see winning this game? I'm going to go with the Arizona Cardinals, actually. Believe it or not. I'm going to go with Arizona here. Now, like I said, this game is a toss-up here, but if Arizona can play good, if their offense can stink and tack and all that, and if their defense can make some key stops and stop DeMarco Murray right here, I kind of like them pulling off an upset in this game. Now, like I said, Dallas losing to Washington, and knowing Washington is not that great of a team, what are they going to do with Arizona? There's a lot of questions right now regarding, and like I said, Tony Romo's health is a big concern right now. And Brandon Weeden only had in his first series. In his first series, he did have a touchdown, but then other than that, he couldn't do anything else in that fourth quarter. So this, like I said, I'm going to go on an upset here. I'm going to say the Cardinals barely beat the Cowboys here in a very close game. This is going to be a very close game. I can guarantee it. Might be a shootout, but I think it's going to be close. This game's going to be a very close game. I like the Cardinals over the Cowboys. Key game number 3. What else? Manning versus Brady. I think 15, 16, or 17. Broncos at the Patriots. Denver's favored by 3 in this game. New England is red hot. So are the Broncos. Boy, this game could not be any more of a toss-up here. Tough to say who's going to be the victor in this game. Now, both teams are riding high. Offenses are really getting going. But for some reason, Denver's defense really has stepped up. They really, really are doing a great job of halting the running games. Basically, they held the Chargers' running game last week to probably a season low. I think under 50 yards. I mean, that's huge. And knowing their defense, they're gonna definitely put a lot of pressure on Tom Brady. I know the Patriots are red hot on it, but let's just see how well they do against Denver here. I think a lot of you know what I'm going to go with in this game here. I just like the way that Denver's been playing right now. And remember what happened last year in New England. Denver had a lead, and New England came back and beat them. It's not going to happen this time. Knowing Manning here, he knows how to beat the Patriots here. I'm going to go with the Broncos here. There's no question about it. But it'll definitely be a close game. But I just think Denver's defense is a little bit better, and I think they're going to hold Tom Brady in a lot of stops here. But this game will definitely be close. I expect it to be a close game. Might be a shootout, but I like Denver in this game. Denver's favored by 3, and rightfully so. I agree with the odds makers on this one. And knowing Peyton Manning, he wants revenge for what happened last year. So I'm definitely going to take the Broncos over the Patriots. And key game number 4, AFC North divisional rivalry game. One of the toughest rivalries in football. The Baltimore Ravens at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Both teams are playing excellent football right now, but none hotter than the Baltimore Ravens. Now, even though they lost to the Bengals last week in a very, very close game, it was just their defense. Wow, I just couldn't believe that their defense could not hold them. And, of course, that offensive pass interference penalty by Stephen Sr., I know that really cost them the game, but this game cannot get any tighter right now. Now, Pittsburgh's on a 2-game winning streak. They're playing at a very well level. I mean, they basically have pulled up now in their last 2 games close to 90 points, especially 51 from last week, and Benton Roethlisberger putting up high numbers. And this is the second meeting of the year. Baltimore already beat them at Baltimore, but this game is in Pittsburgh. Whew. I don't know who's going to come out the victor in this one. This is a tough one here. I've only found one odds maker's website. A couple of odds makers have them as evenly matched. There's no favorite in this game. And I had one that said that Pittsburgh's favored by 1.5. I'll go with that. But no question, this game's a huge toss-up here, and it's definitely going to be the fight to try to get inches closer to each other. It's basically, like I said, both Baltimore, Cincinnati, and Pittsburgh are fighting for first place in that division. That division is basically wide open. So who's going to win this game? Wow, it's tough to say. This game is the top. Remember, Baltimore beat them in week 1. The game wasn't even a contest. But the way Pittsburgh's been playing right now, I expect this game to be close. This time it's going to be a game. So who do I got? I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens here. Flacco, this is his chance, and the rest of that offense right now, this is their chance to put the exclamation point on the Pittsburgh Steelers, sweep them. They would own the tiebreakers if both of those two teams were to tie for first place. But really right now, I still think Baltimore is a tad better than Pittsburgh this season. I mean, the running game for Pittsburgh needs to get it going right there, other than Ben Roethlisberger putting up numbers here. So it's tough to say who's going to come out of this game the victor here, but I'm going to slightly go with the Ravens here in a very, very close game. No question. These two teams hate each other. They hate each other's guts. They know this is going to be smash mouth football. But I just think Baltimore pulls off and barely in a squeaker beat Pittsburgh in this game. Pittsburgh's defense is going to need to come up much more bigger in this game. They have to find a way to stop Joe Flacco on the offense here. Otherwise, I see Baltimore winning this game. I'm going to go out on a kind of a mini upset here, even though technically I wouldn't call it a mini upset because Pittsburgh's only favored by a game and a half. So I'm going to say the Ravens beat the Steelers. All right, everybody, that's it for my picks for week number 9. All of my Week 9 picks are going to be posted up on my writing blog at thesportblog.blogspot.com. All of my Week 9 picks are going to be up there, including my long paragraph description of what I think each team's going to win. Other than that, enjoy your football weekend, everybody, and I will see you back next week when I talk about for week number 10. We're now at the halfway point of the NFL season. We're getting that closer to playoff time, and then a lot of people are going to be wondering who's going to get in, who's going to win the divisions and all that. We'll know for sure after week number 9, as we only wait 7 weeks after that to go. And until then, everybody, take care, and I'll see you next week.